Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Joey with Last Few Spins. So in a recent video that I did, I talked about several bad reviews for 3 different classic albums. But in today's video in particular, we're just going to be talking about one album, and that is The Bends by Radiohead. So the idea of this series is to take albums that I really love, or just really strike that chord for me, that puts them above and beyond, other albums of that era. But what I do is I go to rateyourmusic.com and look through some of the worst reviews, whether it's half a star, 1 star, 1.5 stars, whatever we have to do, just to find some differing opinions. And like I mentioned in the previous video, I try not to really read these. I just kind of get a gist of like people having something to say, copy and paste it, and then just read it and get my honest reaction for it. So without further ado, we're going to get into some of these other opinions about the Bends that might not jive with how I feel about it. So we'll go with this first review here. This person says, this is even worse than Pablo Honey. So maybe not even a fan of their debut album. And that's saying something. So what else is there to do? I'm just going to copy and paste this review from before since it all sounds the same anyway. I might as well have a review that's consistent even if it hurts my credibility. So the only thing worse than Radiohead fanboys is Animal Collective fanboys. The album just sounds all whiny and dragged out like they were trying hard to make cool music. But yeah, where's the guitar riffs? I mean, where are the drum solos? Trust me, it doesn't get better from here. Only worse and worse, same with the fan base. So this dude really doesn't like Radiohead, but also really doesn't like Radiohead fans. Just to go back on something that this person said earlier, that the Bends sounds the same as Pablo Honey. Pablo Honey, you of course have the song Creep, which, a lot of people know Radiohead from, but that song in particular, that's really the only song in their catalog that sounds like that is Creep. So I don't know if you can really, I don't know if I agree with the fact that, one sounds like the other, because it just doesn't. So this next person says, since when was rock music intelligent? I won't be fooled by these arrogant, stuck-up little men. So in terms of the intelligent quote, really from the beginning of time, to be a musician, even from, decades gone by, you have to have some kind of intellect about your instrument. That doesn't just, it comes naturally for a lot of people, but yes, Radiohead lyrics and the music is super complex in terms of their themes and their different time signatures and stuff like that. But I don't think rock music has ever been particularly dumb. Of course, there's some hair metal bands that you might not think they would pass an SAT test or score very high, I should say, but moving on. This user says, it's a bore from start to finish. I thought I was buying a revolutionary album with amazing songs. What I got was pure drivel, droning tat. Tom York should stop mumbling to himself, and despite the obvious talent of Johnny Greenwood, he is wasting himself here. Start making proper music, which we can all enjoy. If this is meant to be one of the greatest albums, then my God, this world has lost it. The only Radiohead album people should buy is Pablo Honey. So at least this person likes Pablo Honey, the other person didn't. Don't buy this or OK Computer, it's an insult to our intelligence. That's a whack take, to say the least. A lot of you watching this, if you clicked on this, you're probably a Radiohead fan. OK Computer, and I feel like the Bends as well as a musical masterpiece, so this person just doesn't get it, I guess. The next review, it is hard to believe how bland this is compared to OK Computer. So it's funny how we have some themes of some people like one but not the other, and some people just hate all of them. This person likes OK Computer. Were these 2 albums really made by the same band? This is just mediocre. It might be considered alternative rock, though there is nothing alternative to this record. Although that is true for almost all so-called alternative albums, Street Spirit might be the only track worth saving. It's funny that this guy's taste is he feels like that's the best song on the album, but then doesn't like a song like Fake Plastic Trees or something like that. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, people have their favorite songs, and that's cool. Fans of indie and alternative will probably love this anyway, not to mention the legions of Radiohead worshippers. It does seem like Radiohead has a very strong fan base, and will go to bat for their band, rightfully so. I'd love to see some of you in the comments. Let me know what you think about some of these reviews. I'm sure you're getting a little wound up watching this. Moving on to the next review. This person says, the Benz is quite possibly the most imposing, arid, bleak for the sake of bleakness piece of pop exploitation to emerge in the 90s. Despite the whole alienation theme, the only aspect of this music that alienates the band from their legendary British peers is their unwillingness to play rock and roll. There's some rock and roll on this album. I don't get this narrative that they don't rock. They don't have guitar stuff like in this record, because they do, it seems like. There's a damn good reason why these songs have appeared in Gilmore Girls and Seventh Heaven. Ooh. Skip and proceed directly to the follow-up. I wonder which ones have appeared in those shows. Obviously those shows scream lame, but there's some really heartfelt songs though in this album. Just because something is heartfelt and emotional, it doesn't make that music lame, even if it's maybe used in different mediums that have a little bit of reputation. But with that being said, those shows are beloved by a fan base as well. So they might have been watching Gilmore Girls or Seventh Heaven, came across whatever song is being used, and decided to look into Radiohead. So I don't think it's a bad thing, I guess. But this person says the song Just and High and Dry are fantastic singles. I would agree. That are surrounded by dull, plodding, whiny album filler that tends to sound all the same. Tom York's skill as a vocalist is completely wasted on most of the bends with his incessant, goat-like moaning, and his skill as a vocalist is much better showcased on OK Computer. Hard to believe the Benz is considered number one for 1995. 95, I feel like it was a pretty good year for releases. I have several from that year that I would consider 5-star as well, like Mad Season, Jagged Little Pill. It's certainly, the Benz would be within my top albums of that year, so it's no surprise that, I guess this is number one on Rate Your Music. This must be what this person's talking about. Not sure about it being dull and whiny album filler. I mean, you have songs like Bones, and I mean, he even says like Just and High and Dry are good songs. I don't know. I feel like there are like 5 or 6 absolute classic bangers that are either fast or slow tempo, and then the other 6 or 7 songs are good at least. But obviously these people don't feel the same way. Radiohead's kind of one of those bands that they're not maybe the most accessible band in terms of their sound. They're, obviously Creep was a mainstream hit and still played on rock radio, but I guess I don't know of many other songs of theirs that are kind of played on the radio, unless, back then they were. But it's just funny how that's kind of the song that people think of. But then you have these other albums like The Benz and OK Computer that, get brought up so much and legendary album conversations, and rightfully so. But anyway, these are 5 reviews for The Benz by Radiohead. If you have any comments about this video or about some of these reviews, drop them down in the comment section. Would also appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel if you like content like this and like this video. But until then, until we do some more bad reviews of classic albums, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Do it to yourself.